But Mugabe's media interview, you've seen some of the clips from the news bulletins, and also if you were watching last night, you did manage to catch the most of it. But let's give you some highlights this morning. Mugabe has called for a dialogue following the events that led to his resignation, despite admitting that he is still aggrieved by what transpired in his country prior to his resignation. The elderly statesman had been in power for 37 years when the military-led operation Restore Legacy to make way for Emmerson Mnangagwa to take over. Mugabe spoke for the very first time to the media about his removal from office.
And on my side, I always had Emmerson Mnangagwa. I brought him in to government. But I never thought he whom I had nurtured and brought into government and whose life I had worked so hard in prison to save, as he was threatened with hanging, that one day he would be the man who would turn against me.
Former President Robert Mugabe publicly opened up about the events that led to his forced resignation for the first time. On Thursday, it's been 4 months since Operation Restore Legacy, and the former leader says he is still aggrieved by what he describes as a coup d'etat.
But there it was, there it is. It happened on the 15th of November. He was assisted by the army. I said it was a coup d'etat. Some people have refused to call it a coup d'etat.
Mugabe recounted how some of his staff were allegedly harassed by the military. He claims they were interrogating them about the whereabouts of his comrades and the members of the G40 cabal, Jonathan Moyo and Xavier Kasukwere.
They don't know. They are mere cooks, they are mere messengers, gardeners. You don't expect them to know. Why worry them? Ask me. I don't even know where they are.
Mugabe doesn't seem to recognize Mnangagwa as a legitimate president. Despite these feelings, he still wants to ignite a dialogue between himself and his successor.
I don't hate Emmerson. I brought him into government. I would want to work with him, but he must be proper. He is improper where he is, illegal. And if it is to correct that illegality that he would want me to discuss with him, I'm willing. We must undo this disgrace which we have imposed on ourselves. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. Please, we don't deserve it. Zimbabwe doesn't deserve it. We want to be a constitutional country. Yes, we may have our shortcomings here and there, but overall, we must obey the law.
It is unclear whether the current administration will answer Mugabe's call for dialogue over the legitimacy of the presidency. Meanwhile, he's used the election of President Cyril Ramaphosa as a juxtaposition to what's happening in his country. He says the ANC, unlike the ruling ZANU-PF, followed procedure and had Ramaphosa elected legitimately.